Assalamu alaikum. This is Aisha Al Hajar from Amani Birth, and I am here with the Amani Changed My Life series. I have an interview scheduled today with Lisa Sarabi. She is one of our newer doulas in Virginia, USA, in the Washington, D.C., Virginia area. But she, as this work has sometimes does for us, had to cancel because she's got a mom in labor. So I want to start out by saying, welcome to everyone who's watching, as well as I want to say to the mom that Lisa is supporting, may Allah bless you. May Allah make it easy for you. May you have a wonderful outcome, healthy mom, healthy baby, and a very empowering journey. I know it's a first-time mom, and those births can sometimes be long. So we're making dua for Lisa Sarabi's mama today, as well as for Lisa on her doula journey. And we will reschedule Lisa for later on. We'll get that rescheduled probably in January, because we have a pretty booked schedule all the way through January. And if Amani Birth changed your life, let me know, because we could always schedule you in, of course, at any time. So what I thought I'd do today, this is my daughter Amani, by the way. She's the namesake of Amani Birth. What I thought I'd do today is, since I don't have Lisa with me, is I thought I'd share a particular birth story, one of the births that I attended, because there were a lot of lessons in that birth. So I thought, let's just share a birth story today. So I want to write that in the chat box. All right, so I've done that. So I want to share a birth story. So this is like the first birth I attended after living in Saudi for several years, Egypt and then Saudi, doing birth work here. This was the first birth I attended when I went back to the States. And there's a lot of lessons in this birth and aha moments for moms and even for doulas who support mothers. So I thought I would share it with you. So this particular mother, alhamdulillah, she was a first-time mom. She had come to me for Amani Birth childbirth education classes. She and her husband were prepared. We had not really talked about me being her doula, but sometimes when you serve as a childbirth educator, the moms really want to have you there for the birth. So I always know that they might call me at that last minute and say, we want you to come. So that was kind of the situation with this one. It wasn't really scheduled doula care, but it was scheduled. I kind of figured they'd call me when birthday came. So the day that this woman gave birth, it's actually the day before she gave birth, I was busy running around town doing different things. By the time I got home, I was exhausted. She called me about 10 o'clock at night, and she said that she had a little bit of leaking fluid. And I said, okay, well, is the leaking fluid clear? She said, yes. I said, is there any foul odor? She said, no. I said, do you have any fever, any feeling of unwellness, anything that might indicate a systemic infection? She says, no. I said, baby's fetal movement. She said, baby's moving fine. I said, do some Kegel exercises. See if you feel anything in the vagina. She said, no, I don't feel anything in the vagina. I said, okay, 10 o'clock at night. Waters haven't really broken. You got a little bit of a leak. I said, your husband works night, right? She said, yeah, my husband works nights. I said, okay, don't call the brother. Let him alone. Let him do his job. Don't bother him. I want you to get some rest. She's not having contractions. She's not in labor. I said, but likely you'll be in labor within the next 24 hours. So I want to make sure that you get a good night rest as much as possible. And call me if anything kicks up, or check with me in the morning and let me know how you're doing. And so, that's how we kind of ended the call. So she went to sleep. I assume she went to sleep. I went to sleep. Next day, I don't hear from her in the morning. I'm going about my business. And she calls at about noon. And she says, Assalamu alaikum. I've been at the hospital since midnight. And I'm like, okay, so she obviously didn't take my advice to take a nap. She called her husband instead. And she said, they confirmed that, it is amniotic fluid that's leaking, just a little bit of fluid, not much. They've had me on a fetal monitor all night long. Baby's, doing fine, not having any contractions or anything. They've just been having me lay in the bed for the last 12 hours. But I'm wondering if you could come in now and be my doula, because, my husband worked all night and, he was up for work, and, now it's like, noon, and he's like tired. He wants to go home and take a nap. So I said, well, I honestly have quite a few things to do, but I'll come. I'll get there later on in the day. I'll let you know when I'm on my way. So I went home. I made lunch for my kids. I'm having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. My 18-year-old daughter at the time says to me, Mom, what are you doing? You have a mom in labor. Why are you sitting here having lunch? And I said, no, sweetheart, I don't have a mom in labor. I have a mom in a very expensive hotel room. And when I go to her, she's going to be laying in that bed, and I'm really not going to be doing anything except having a chit chat with her. And I got other things to do. So I will go, when I get some things done that I need to get done today. This is not an urgent situation. I'll go when I get there. So anyways, yes, it was my daughter, Sarah. So anyways, I go ahead and finish up eating. I clean up. I do some things I need to do. It's probably 7 p.m. before I finally do go to the hospital. Now, by the time I got there, she had called another friend, and a friend had come in who wasn't a certified doula, but who has attended several births. So she was there with this mom and, serving as her doula, although not a certified one. You don't necessarily have to be certified to be a doula or to help people in labor. It helps with credibility. It helps if you're getting clients that are strangers to you, to trust that you know what you're doing. And of course, it gives you a lot more experience and background for what you're doing. But anybody can, go and attend birth and serve as a helper to someone else. So this is what this girl is doing. So husband's already gone home. This girl's there. I come in. She's still basically just laying in this bed, so from like midnight all the way to 7 p.m., she's just been laying in this bed, not having any contractions, just being on a monitor, and everything's fine with the baby. So about the time I come in shortly thereafter, the doctor comes in, and the doctor, does a quick scan of the mother, and he confirms everything's fine with the baby, but he wants to get her started on some Cytotec. Now, this is the first birth I'm attending back in the States, and Cytotec is a drug. This is actually not labeled by the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, for labor, but it's an ulcer drug, but one of its side effects is that it causes uterine contractions. And back, I want to say it was either 80s or 90s, this drug was culprit in many uterine ruptures. And so the Food and Drug Administration and the drug manufacturer sent a letter out to all of the obstetricians at that time saying, look, this drug is off-label use for labor. We don't, license it for that use. Doctors can use any drug they want for anything they want. Off-label use means that it's not what the drug was intended for, but it might have side effects that are beneficial to whatever they're trying to treat. There's no one stopping them from using any drug they want, any way they want. But they let them know, if you have any uterine ruptures because of this drug, we're not backing you. We never told you to use it for labor and birth. We don't have it, licensed for that use. It's not its purpose, so use it at your own risk, kind of thing. So Cytotec quickly fell by the wayside use in the States, or so I thought. So this doctor's offering her Cytotec. Like, I was really shocked. Like, I still see it offered in the Eastern countries, in the Middle East and farther East countries. And that doesn't surprise me, but to see it being used in the States, I was like, whoa, I thought like Cytotec was a thing of the past. They're still offering Cytotec. Anyways, I didn't say anything. This mom is well versed on what she wants. She's, taking money classes. She knows how to weigh benefits and risks. And, she said, well, the baby's doing fine and I'm not in any discomfort or whatever. There's no rush here. Like, I don't have any desire to take a drug to speed things up. And the doctor says, well, you're kind of coloring outside the lines here. I'm not really comfortable with not doing something. You've been here since midnight, and I'm thinking, yeah, she's been here since midnight, like I said, in an expensive hotel. There's no reason for her really to be there. And the doctor says, and we don't know, we don't really know how long this is going to go on. And she's kind of bad. The doctor's male. He's kind of badgering the mom a little bit, and the mom's holding her own. And she's like, no, I don't want this drug. And, I said to the doctor, I said, Doc, the baby's fine, right? Like, I know the baby's fine because I can see the strip myself of the baby's heart rate. But doctor says, well, yeah, the baby's fine, but like, I can't guarantee the baby won't be fine later. And I said, well, if the baby's not fine later, you can do something about it later, right? And he's like, well, yeah, but I'm just uncomfortable that she's been here this long. And I'm thinking, then send her home. She's not in labor, like, send her home. But anyway, the mom refused. The doctor left. Now, mind you, she had not had a vaginal exam since she came in at midnight. And I forgot to tell you, she was 2 centimeters dilated when she came in at midnight. Guys, 2 centimeters is nothing. You can walk around 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters for 2, 3, 4 weeks. That's not a big deal. So just the fact that she's 2 centimeters doesn't mean she needs to be admitted to the hospital. Anyway, so, they hadn't done a vaginal exam. Now, midnight all the way to 7 p.m., they hadn't done a vaginal exam. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm in America where, they're not pushing interventions and, mom can say no and it's not a problem. And I was just like kind of feeling like I was kind of in heaven, like, oh, this is so nice, that, they're not, the mom's got leaking water, so they don't want to risk infection by doing multiple vaginal exams. She's not having contractions. Like, why check her, I can see in some hospitals they'd be checking her every 20 minutes, but this mom, alhamdulillah, it's all these hours they hadn't checked her, and I thought, that's nice. So we're going on. And now it's like after midnight, okay? And so we've been here all this time. The father's come back at this point, so it's me, the father, the friend, and the laboring mother. But she's still really not having any contractions. Nothing really detectable on the monitor. She's not really having any noticeable contractions. Little peaks on the monitor, but nothing major. And she's not having any visual signs of contracting. And suddenly this mom starts to burp, And I looked at her friend and I said, oh, sneaky girl, she's in transition. And she said, what do you mean she's in transition? I said, burping is a classic sign of transition. And she's laying here being just quiet and smooth as a cucumber and not letting on at all that the contractions are a little bit more than what we think they are. And she says to me, are you sure? I said, I'm telling you, this girl's in transition and she's sneaky. She's a quiet birther. I got to tell you something about quiet birthers. Quiet birthers, you guys drive me crazy because if you're a really quiet birther, it's hard for me to read like where you're at in labor. I can tell a lot by where a woman is in labor by her sounds, by her demeanor, by her behaviors. But when a mom is super cool and chill and she doesn't make any sounds, it's hard for me to read where she is in labor. So I don't like quiet birthers, by the way. I like moms who like give me some kind of sign of what's going on. But this mommy, bless her heart, she's a quiet birther. So I'm thinking, geez, this mom's in transition, bless her heart. Shortly thereafter, there comes this smell. Birth has a very distinct smell when the woman is ready to push. I can't describe it like anything else because I don't know anything else that has the smell. But if you've been around birth long enough, you get to know the birth smell. Okay. So I recognize this smell and I think to myself, this mom's fully dilated. Now I don't say anything because I could be wrong, right? I don't want to get her hopes up and then I'm wrong. And obviously, or apparently the nurse also had the same sense because the nurse left the room. She just quietly left. She came back with a more senior nurse who then did a vaginal exam. So now we're like after midnight. So she's been here over 24 hours and this is her second vaginal exam, mashallah. So they do the second vaginal exam and the nurse announces that the woman is fully dilated. I'm like patting myself on the back. I'm like, yep, I knew it. I smelled it. I knew she was fully dilated. I didn't say it, but I knew it. Anyways, the room becomes chaotic at this point. Everybody's hustling and bustling. The mom's in a little bit of shock. And, the dad's like all on alert. And the doctor comes in the room. Now, it's not the same doctor that she had before. This is just the doctor on duty. The doctor comes in with a bit of an attitude. And she says, well, I need to perform a vaginal exam. And the nurse says, well, I just did one. She's fully dilated. The doctor says, well, I need to do my own. So she does a vaginal exam. And she's got her hand in the mom's vagina. And she's staring the mom down. And she says to the mom, you are 5 centimeters dilated. Do you hear me? 5 centimeters dilated. This has gone on for way too long. We're taking you for a cesarean section. This is ridiculous. And because you refused our epidural, your husband can't come in with you. Because in the States, the husband gets to attend even in a cesarean. Sorry. And mimicking her voice made me cough. So anyway, so they're rushing her down for cesarean section. They're going to do general anesthesia because this is suddenly an emergency because of time, nothing more than time. The mom isn't fine. The baby's fine. Pardon me. I need to get a glass of water. So anyways, they're rushing her down for cesarean section at this point, mainly over an issue of time. Give me a moment. They pretty much have just gotten tired of this mom being there. She's been here too long for their liking. So the dad, there's nothing I can do as a doula at this point. They're taking her off for her cesarean section. There's not much I can do. Everything's chaotic. The mom's going, the dad's following behind the mom to go, as close to as far as they'll let him go. They'll lock him out of the surgery room, but as far as they'll let him go. The friend and I go back to the lobby. My husband was actually there waiting for me. And I'm telling him that they've taken her for cesarean section. And we've been there, like I said, since 7 o'clock at night. It's now, well past midnight. He's like, why? Why are they taking her? And I'm trying to explain what's going on. And the friend actually collapsed into my arms and she started crying and she's sobbing, for her friend. She doesn't want her friend to end by cesarean section. And I said, before I forgot to say this, before we left the labor room, when the doctor's screaming at her, you're 5 centimeters dilated, you're going to have cesarean, your husband can't go with you. I leaned over as if I was kissing the mom on the cheek, but I didn't actually kiss her. I whispered in her ear and I said, you're fully dilated. Push like hell all the way from here to the surgery. Like push, because you're fully dilated. Anyway, so we get back and her friend collapsed in my arm, to the lobby, and the friend collapsed in my arm and she's crying. And I said, don't cry. I said, she's going to have the baby before they can cut her. She says, don't give me false hope. I said, I'm telling you, she's going to have that baby before they can cut her. No sooner did I finish saying that, her husband comes running in the room. She had the baby before they could even give her the anesthetics. I was like, see, I told you, I knew she was fully dilated. So now the question becomes, why did the nurse and I smell full dilation? Why did the senior nurse diagnose full dilation, but yet the doctor said only 5 centimeters? So we can make some guesses here. Who knows? One could be maybe the doctor's lying. I don't think the doctor's lying. It could be that the mother was what we call a soft 10. So during a contraction, maybe the baby's head pushing against the cervix caused it to be 10. But then when she's not pushing, no contraction, and the head recedes a little bit, maybe it's not, maybe it's going, back in. So maybe the cervix is doing, one of these open and close kind of games against the pressure of the baby's head. That's could be what's happening. It could also be that because the doctor came in with such attitude, throwing her weight around and like, I have to do my own vaginal exam, and the mom's kind of in shock, that she could have had a rush of the adrenaline hormone. And the adrenaline hormone actually causes the cervix to close. If you're in fear, if you're upset, if you don't trust your environment, if you feel threatened in any way, you can actually reverse dilate. But the good thing is that, with a little bit of calming and a little bit of trust, you can get back to a flow of the oxytocin hormone that actually causes birth to progress. And you can go from wherever your reverse dilation is right back to where you were before. It could be that as well. It's all hit and miss here. It's just guesses. Who knows? But I will say this. Because of this kind of stuff, I don't put a lot of value in the vaginal exam. Is there a time and a place to do them? Of course. As a midwife, to ever do them? Of course. But to hang everything on the vaginal exam, wallahi, it's just a clinical guess, and it's subjective. You can be 2 centimeters now and 10 centimeters in a minute. You can be 10 centimeters and then someone says the wrong thing to you and reverse back dilate to 4 or 5. So at the end of the day, I don't put a lot of stock in a vaginal exam. It's also subjective. When I do a vaginal exam, I might say, oh, she's, 5, and somebody else might do a vaginal exam and say she's 3 or she's 7. It's all a matter of our own perception when we do a vaginal exam. So at the end of the day, it's not a, truly accurate clinical science. It's just one of the tools that we use. It's a number to write down in the chart. It's not the be all end all. So I wanted to share that birth story with you because there's so many lessons in it. Number one, don't go to the hospital too soon. Especially if everything's well. If you're there and you're really not in labor, like go home. Like she was in like I said, an expensive hotel. She wasn't really needing to be in the hospital all of that time. And number three, take the vaginal exam numbers with a grain of salt because it's not really the be all end all. It doesn't tell us everything that we need to know. I can tell a lot more about where a woman is in labor by her behavior, by, like I said, the noises she makes, her modesty, her movements. There's so much more to being with a woman and knowing where she is in labor than, doing the, vaginal exam and trying to figure out how far open she is. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Like I said, it's unfortunate that Lisa Sarabi wasn't here for her interview. She's off dueling and she's attending a birth in the States. She's in Virginia. So let's all keep her and the mom in our duas. May Allah make it easy for her. And I will see you all next Thursday. I forget who we're interviewing next Thursday. Let me just see if I can look for you and I can tell you who we're interviewing next Thursday. I'll move Lisa to another week. And next Thursday we'll do Hiba Razek. She is a doula in training and a childbirth educator in training. Actually, she just certified. She actually just certified, I believe. So I'll have to change that. And she's in Canada. And she will be talking to us about how Amani birth changed her life. And she is going to be our next interview. Lisa will move to another date in January. So everyone take care. Remember, vaginal exam is a subjective measure. It's not all that. It's not the be all end all. And y'all have a great day. And tell us how Amani birth changed your life. Oh, don't forget to like and share. And you can also get your free copy of an upcoming book. I'm doing a new booklet. It's called Secrets. It's called Secrets of the Labor Room. And my Secrets of the Labor Room, let's see, I was trying to see if I could show you the cover of the book. Secrets of the Labor Room book is coming out by the end of the year. You can go to amanibirth.online/free secrets book and sign up for your free copy. Everyone take care. Assalamu alaikum.